Hey guys, Jeremiah Coleman here again. My wife Chandra Coleman here with Kustom Ministry. We want to thank you guys again for clicking on this video. We pray that we be a blessing to you guys today. You guys be a blessing to us. If you haven't watched the last video, we talked about communication and the lack thereof. So if you need to go back and watch it, go watch it, and then come and watch this one, because today we're talking about expectations in marriage and the false expectations that we have, the unmet expectations that we have, and the expectation that we have that's not reachable, that's not even possible, that we bring into our marriage and expect for our spouse to do, and they cannot do it. It's impossible. So we're going to talk about these today, and we're going to get personal with you guys, and we're going to be transparent. So we're going to start with the definition of expectation.
The definition of expectation is the belief that something will happen. Or another definition is a belief that someone should and would achieve something. So we have a lot of expectations in marriage, and we should have some expectations in marriage, which they push us and they help us to grow as a couple and as individuals. But we also have unmet expectations, unspoken expectations, and simply unrealistic expectations that lead up to those killers in marriage. And though they may be killers, they're not destroyers in marriage. So like my husband said, we're going to be transparent with you guys. We value transparency. We think it's a great key and tool to reach others. If it wasn't for the transparency in other people's lives that have poured into us, that have talked to us and counseled us, I don't think we would have had the hope or the faith that we could have pushed through a lot of the things that we walked through.
Yeah, so true.
I'm just gonna jump right into some of my expectations that I had in marriage, in our marriage when we first got together. We were both young when we got married. We were very young. One of us was still in high school.
Yeah.
We were both very young when we got married. So I'm pretty sure we had a lot of expectations that were very unrealistic and pretty much unspoken, because we jumped right into this thing with pretty much no real counseling, no I guess guidance. We just jumped right into it, and it was kind of rough because we have two young people who came straight out of their parents' house and into living together. So expectations were there that came from it could be from movies, from TV, from other people that we've seen.
Just general our upbringing, and that's what she's getting at. I mean, I was brought up totally different than she was.
Right.
So her expectation for me was totally different, and mine was totally different for her.
Right.
And we found that out real quick in the first 3 years of our marriage. They say those are the hardest years. Stop. It's not. It wasn't for us. Thank God it wasn't. So praise God.
They weren't easy.
Yeah, there you go. But they weren't hard like everybody's saying. So if you're planning to get married, pray about it. Go get married. Go do it. You'll be fine. You okay? Keep God first. You'll be all right. All right, continue on. Side note, we're back. But like we were saying, expectation, mine was different. Hers was different. We come up from a different background. I carried a lot of things into the marriage, a lot of expectation into the marriage. One of my expectations for her is to be there and make me happy always. I was looking, okay, I'm about to marry this chick. She look good, she fine. I'm about to marry her, and so I'm thinking that she's gonna make me happy. My expectation was for her to make me happy. Whatever you do, you sign up for this. I used to tell her that all the time. I used to say when she wasn't meeting my unrealistic expectations. You know, I would tell her, hey, you sign up for it. You sign up for it. I threw it out there all the time. You sign up for this. You sign up for this. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. And it was just unrealistic, y'all, and it caused so much strife in our marriage. I expected her to love the way I love. You know what I mean? Everything that I love, I just expected her to be the same way. I expected her to respond like I did to everything, y'all. Even as far as my outgoing personality.
Yeah.
You know, I expected her to be the same way. So when we're out in the grocery store, or we in church, or we just out with my family or her family, I expect her to act the way I'm acting. If I'm out mingling with people and talking, I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, why you back there? Why you not saying anything? Why you so quiet? Why you in the corner? Go talk, you know? And I would actually be mean about it. Like, what are you doing? Go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Don't just sit here in the corner. Go talk. Like, you know, what's wrong with you? And I'm expecting her just to be like me. And it was so wrong. And I seen it. I mean, I seen it now, and I see it clearly that was so wrong. That was expectation that was unrealistic, because that's not who she is. It just wasn't. And I expected her to be that way, to be just like me. And that was an unrealistic expectation that I brought into my marriage.
And some of my expectations as far as when we first got married that were pretty much unrealistic. I wanted him to cater to everything that I wanted. I wanted him to do what I say when I said to do it, and it was just that's out of order, and I didn't realize it now. But when I started walking with the Lord, I had to understand that was just out of order.
Yeah.
And if I would have continued in that path and in that way, it would have potentially, our marriage would have been in shambles because of my lack of submission and my pride, pretty much. And another expectation I had was, I'm marrying the love of my life. We never argued when we were dating. Really?
No, we didn't. We were cool breathing. We really were. I just thank you for bringing it up. We didn't argue at all, y'all. It was puppy love. I don't know what you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, but we were just some happy-go-lucky couple, man. We stayed smiling, kept each other laughing, and we still do that now.
Yeah.
You know, this is my dog right here. You know, it's my wife. She's wonderful.
But we really didn't argue when we were dating. Now, we had like little spats, like little quarrels, but we never really had like head-on collision arguments. And that was my expectation when we got married. We'll never argue. We'll never have disagreements. We'll agree on everything. He'll do everything that I want him to do.
Yeah.
Because his goal is to make me happy. And as you see, that was my mindset and his also. And when those two mindsets come together, when you're looking for that person to make you happy and that person is looking for you to make them happy, it causes tension. So that was both our mindsets, that he should do everything that I wanted him to make me happy, regardless of what it was. And the same for him. And we're not talking about just things that you should do in a marriage to make your spouse happy. We're talking about, we felt that the other person should go above and beyond their own means, or their own capabilities to make us happy. And after a while, we learned that caused a lot of tension in our marriage, because it was an unrealistic expectation that he wasn't going to pour into me everything that I needed, because it just wasn't possible. It was sometimes not financially possible, sometimes not emotionally possible. It just wasn't there, especially as a young married couple that is growing into marriage. I think a lot of times we hear the vows and we don't really understand the depth of them. We hear for better and for worse, for richer and for poor, and for sickness and health, and we just hear the good parts of that. We don't understand the depths of the poor, and we don't understand the depths of the sickness or the worst. We don't understand the depths of that when we walk into marriage, when we don't have proper guidance before we jump into marriage. So I guess those two kind of go in together, the unmet expectations and the unrealistic expectations. I think for me, unmet expectations meant, which he knows that this is like a pet peeve of mine. Don't tell me you're going to do something and don't do it. That would cause a big blow up for me, and not just for him. I'm just a stickler about that. It's a logical and a respectful thing. That's respecting the other person's time and emotions. I guess that might have been part of the way I was raised in some extent. You say what you say and you do what you do. That's it. And someone in this marriage had a bad habit at one point in time of not making good on his promises or saying he would do something. And if you feel like you can't do something for your spouse, but you know they really want it, don't say you can. Don't say you can. Be honest with them. Say, hey, I don't know if I can do that. And that's when you reach a compromise together and say, hey, I can't do that, but how about this? Because if you say you're going to do something a lot of times in marriage and you fail on your promises, you got hurt feelings, you got bitterness, you got offense, you got all this other stuff you got to deal with that could be truly avoided if you just open your mouth and communicate it.
Yeah, and in those times, we both ended up hurt because I love her so much and I wanna make her happy all the time. And some of the things I knew I couldn't do, like some of her unrealistic expectations that she had, I knew I couldn't do it, but I said, yeah, I can do it. So those was the promises that she was just talking about. I promised a lot of things and just saying, yeah, I can do it. You know, the man in me just, yeah, let's do it. I can do it. Whatever you want. Right. Knowing I couldn't. And so I ended up hurting because I couldn't do it. And she ended up hurting because I didn't do it. So we just broken. Just both of us. You know what I mean? So it goes back to communication. Yeah. Explain your expectation to her. Right. Let her know. Let it be known.
Yeah. The final thing we want to, I guess, not really just go into, but kind of jump back into. I just want to share one of, I guess it would probably be both of ours, one of our huge unrealistic expectations. And there was a point in time in our marriage, is before we were truly walking with the Lord, that I expected him to fill every single void in my life. And for him to make me whole, for him to heal past hurts, for his love to heal those past hurts. But it was unrealistic. And it put a burden on him and on our marriage because it caused him to feel like he was failing me. And not only did it cause him to feel like he was failing me, it caused me to feel like I was just broken completely and beyond repair, pretty much.
Yeah. And it put a lot of pressure on me during those times. I'm sitting here thinking about them. I can remember those times when, you know, she was coming at me with the need, and I knew it was a hole that I couldn't fill. Like, once again, I just knew I couldn't do it, y'all, and it hurt me more than it hurt her, I believe, you know. But like I say, it wasn't truly until you really started following Christ and looking at Christ for her, you know, fulfillment, and not in me, because I can't do it. I mean, I can do only so much.
As we were sitting here talking, I just seen, I kind of seen this person there filled with all these different holes and all these different broken spots. And I see another person where their hands are continually trying to cover every single one of these holes, but every time they get one hole covered, more spews out. Another hole covered, more spews out. And that's kind of what it looks like in a marriage when you're looking for your spouse to fill holes and fill voids and to, truly repair you and restore you from all the brokenness that you may have walked through, that they might not even know about, especially if it's like childhood wounds or anything like that. It's hard for your spouse to even touch on those things. And as I'm seeing these hands continually be covered, like, your spouse can't do it. Their hands are too small. Your spouse's hands are too small, and they don't have enough strength to cover and fill all these holes. But there's only one hand can do that, and that's the hand of God that can come down. It can fill every void, fill every hole, touch every broken place, and truly restore you. And I know what that feels like, for the hand of God to come into my life and to heal the broken places, to come in to fill voids that I didn't even understand why they were there, or didn't even know that they were voids, to be honest. For him to come and pour that into my life and to give me identity, give me purpose. When we got married, I was a Coleman. That was it. That was my identity. But it still did not fill me to the place I wanted to. I was a wife. But when I came to know the Lord and he began to pour his love into me, pour his spirit into me, I started to understand who I truly, truly, truly am, and how I can truly be filled and healed by the hand of God. And there is nothing like it. There is nothing like the wholeness and the fullness and the identity that I have and that love that he poured into me, because only Christ's love can truly cover all of that. And once his love came in and covered all of that, I was able to love my husband in a new way because I understood what it was to be loved unconditionally. So if you're looking for your spouse to fill unfillable holes, please understand their hands are too small. Their strength is not there, is not strong enough to pour that and fill that into you. Look to Christ to fill those holes. Look to Christ to fill those expectations that you don't understand completely why they are there. Then as far as with your spouse, sit down and talk about your expectations. What are your expectations for your marriage? What are your expectations for your children? What are your expectations for business and visions and dreams, careers? What are your expectations as far as a couple?
Yeah, sure.
Talk those things out.
Put it all on the table.
Right.
She can't read my mind. I can't read her mind. We just can't.
Right.
We can't. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're feeling until you tell me. I don't know what you're expecting until she tells me. So please, get it out on the table. And if you have to, categorize these things. And put them in that this is realistic. We can do this. This we can't. You know, categorize them, but open up and express it to your spouse.
Sit down and really just evaluate your expectations in your marriage and just truly see, am I setting my spouse up for failure? Or is this something that we really can do together and that we can accomplish together in our marriage?
Exactly. This is something that will never stay the same.
Right.
Okay, if you're staying the same, you're not growing, you're dying. You're just like a plant. If a plant's not growing, you're dying.
Right.
So she's forever changing. That's great. I love it. I don't care. I'm forever changing.
Right.
I'm sure she loves it.
Right.
So continue to seek these things out and to talk over these expectations, because they may change over time. I got a bunch of expectations that I just talked about.
Right.
And totally different now.
Yeah.
Totally different, and different from her too. Once again, we want to thank you guys for clicking on this video and joining us and talking about expectation in marriage. And we just pray that you guys discuss with your spouse your expectation. Like I said, write them out and watch God work, y'all. I'm telling you, watch the strife and the anger and all the small arguments just kind of fade away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you know what she wants, she know what you want, and you guys both know what's real and what's not.
Right.
So we want to thank you guys again. God bless you. We'll see you guys next week.